Boom.
I always love your
big squeal means we are live.
Yes. People are going to join. They're going to be like, what? Why?
What's the pig? So if that's you right now, if you're happen to come in and curious about why there's the pig, it's because Jeff Cross made that song for me. And that's actually a picture of his pig Cheddar, who is a pig that he owns that lives on his farm. He's very cute. He's very sweet. So yeah, that's the pig story. If you were wondering, not much to tell, but Jeff Cross really does love that pig. So that's what we're going with.
My mom has like 20 ducks or something along those lines. So having strange animals in your backyard is something that my family is not strangers to.
Yeah. Well, Jeff bought this house that had a whole lot of land on it, so he could do like pigs. And I think does he have goats? I think he's working on goats. He's got some chickens. It's very cool. He's had my kids over to the place a couple times now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool. Let's see. Let's see if we can do like some recap of where we're at.
Yeah.
Because I think we've progressed a little bit since last time.
You may want to zoom in on your ID. It's a little hard to see.
Yeah, let me get on that. Is that good?
Yeah, there we go.
Sweet. We don't need tests. Get out of here.
What are tests for anyway?
Oh, y'all can see this thing too. That's interesting.
So I just realized how off center I am.
There we go.
Okay, we're serving. Let's see. So this is the state. We're in a similar state as we were last time. Had this terrible problem where I didn't understand why, like, I had this battle engine and it seemed like it wasn't being updated whenever I did stuff, which was interesting. Hi, Rob Shen. How's it going, man? Thanks for joining. And it's a function of me not knowing React or knowing how hooks work or knowing that you need to use the use ref hook if you want to keep something around.
I was pretty impressed that you were using the use ref hook.
So I reached out on Twitter because this is what I did. Let's go to our app code, app.tsx. So I just had a hunch, like maybe React's doing something here. And it wasn't really React doing something. It was just me not understanding what else was going on. Like, for some reason, I saw this function here. And I thought, oh, Adam's here too. Hey, Adam. Adam's going to be on tomorrow. So Adam actually helped me. Corbin, you'd be super interested in this. He just sent me some stuff with XState, which is like, yeah, have you used XState before?
I haven't used XState, but I'm pretty familiar with, what's the technical terminology? Grammarless? I don't remember the terminology exactly, but I'm familiar with the concept. So yeah, it's exciting.
So let me see if I can actually bring up the thing Adam sent me, because this is super cool. Can y'all see that?
Oh yeah.
So this is like the state machine of our engine.
Yes.
But visualized. I believe there's stuff in XState, like the Redux dev tool, so we could actually see that in the browser going as well.
Oh, that's very cool.
So hopefully we'll get to that eventually. I'm not ready to do that yet, but he sent me. I think he pretty much did it all. So Adam, thank you so much. We're looking forward to getting you on so we can do that. But today we wanted to try to do some UI stuff, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Where did I want to go? I wanted to talk about this. I saw this app, man. I was like, this is Angular. This is a component. This is a class. It's not. I was like, oh yeah, this is a function. It makes sense that if I just had, before I wasn't using use ref here, I was just going right to create it, battle engine. Yeah, obviously it wouldn't work. What I had done to make it work is I just declared the engine outside of the function, and then everything worked as it should, obviously.
That was the first thing I tried when I pulled the code base as well.
Oh yeah.
When I messaged you that, and I'm like, man, I moved it out, but then I pulled and everything worked.
Yeah. Well, it was very clear that something was bad.
Yeah.
but it is what it is. We've made some enhancements since last time. So we changed stuff so things will actually work through. I adjusted the controller a bit. So before it was just kind of assumed that you would use tackle, and you kind of just entered the ID of the target, and we just put like a little bit of extra stuff around that. So here we'll see. I'm on kind of a fresh.
You may want to
battle.
zoom in again.
Yeah, let me do that. Thank you, Corbin. Yeah, it's got a hard refresh after that. It's not a very solid app yet, is it? Yeah, reset it every single time. But if I hit churn here, so churn is pretty much we really don't need this. We could probably just have a while loop going. That's always going to call next for us on the engine. But this will let us like take a stop when the user needs to do stuff. So when we hit churn, it's hard for y'all to see. I don't know if I can make this bigger. Like the window prompt.
You probably have to go into your browser settings.
Yeah, I'm y'all deal, I'm sure. Y'all are a resilient audience. So it'll tell me like which move will Corbin use. I still got to only do like 1 through 3. So I'll use 1. It says enter the ID of the target. Corbin will use tackle on. It says I can do Zach or I could do
I
Corbin.
can tackle myself. Yes.
Yes. Do you want to tackle yourself?
Yes, do it.
Tackle yourself. Okay, here we go. Boom. So we tackled yourself. Things happened, and it's not super clear because we're just like have a JSON of what's going on. But since you got your move, your speed points decreased. You got an energy point.
Yes.
Those don't do much yet, but you got one, Corbin.
Yes.
And since you tackled yourself, you now have 600 health as opposed to you started out with 1,000.
He attacked himself in confusion.
Yes. It's a thing apparently. And before when you tackle yourself, for some reason it didn't work, and I went in and figured out what that reason was and remedied it. But I've also got so it's hard to see, but we've got the 4 different moves here. And these 4 different moves are different. They're very similar. They're pretty much all most of them are variations of the one. But there's also burn now. So I'm going to use burn. Corbin, I'm going to burn you if that's cool.
No.
Sorry.
Your code sucks. That's the burn.
Not seeing the last. The last one was Fire Hammer, I think, corruption. So we'll get into that. It's kind of weird to talk about this, but the idea for Ember was Ember would use special attack and special defense. Fire Hammer, yeah. Thanks, man. Fire Hammer is not a very good name for it, but we're going to use a fire attack, but it's a physical fire attack as opposed to a special fire attack. We just wanted to make sure those were doing different things.
Got to distinctify.
Yeah, but here with burn, I actually didn't do any immediate damage to you. Well, I guess I did, but that's because the turn happened. But I left this aura on. So Corbin's ID is 2. I left this aura on you that's going to burn for 30 damage between each turn. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of working right now. Like if we let's make Corbin tackle me. Let's see. Yeah, your health went down a little bit in between turns there because you were burned. You can see my health went down. It's the point I'm trying to get to. We're making some improvements on stuff as we're going. So things are slowly moving along. But as we can see, it's super difficult to understand what's going on because of the massive JSON. So that's what we're going to try to remedy today. And yes, Robshan, as you pointed out, this is likely not balanced in any way or fun at the moment, but we'll get there. Like, I think 2 tackles will pretty much end the whole game. So, yeah, it's okay. We'll get to a point where it's fun and stuff. So, let's go. Let's just try to do this thing I like to do. We'll make a quick little MD file. How do I want to do that? No. Let's do this.
So one of the things I'm wondering is, do you want to be introduced to context today?
Sure.
I think context might be a good use for some of this.
It could be, yeah. If you think so, Corbin, I'll defer to your judgment. I am poking around in the dark here, as you know. So
the reason why I'm recommending context is because in order to provide the battle engine to all of the UI, it's a lot easier to use something like context and then update that. That's kind of my thoughts.
No, that makes sense. So this is like in Angular, you would do this usually like with a service or something like that.
Right.
Or NGRX is really like a big fancy service, but similar idea, I think.
I got the question. Does context replace Redux? That's always like that's the hot button topic question. So I don't think so. I think that there are places where context can replace Redux. So for example, I think that like what we're going to be doing, what I hope we're going to be doing is sorry, you opened the can. It's okay. It always comes up. So I think for what we're going to be doing today, we don't necessarily need Redux. We can use context instead, but there's still applications like my app, GetShark, which does use Redux because it makes side effect management and other things so much more simpler. So it's like asking if you need NGRX if you can just use RxJS for state management, right? You can do some things with RxJS with state management, but I think that NGRX adds kind of another level of organization and side effect management and a bunch of other tools to your toolbox that you might need for your particular app.
Yeah.
So
in Angular world, NGRX is kind of the Redux implementation, I guess you could say. And the thing I like about it, there's a lot of things I like about NGRX that I don't know are necessarily true of Redux, but the biggest part is, like you said, state is a tricky problem, so don't go it alone. Like here, take this, and this is NGRX, and that's a great way to kind of progress while benefiting from other people's hard work. So thank you to all the NGRX maintainers out there. I've had many of them on the stream at this point now. So
the RxJS versus context it's a weird comparison because it's not one-to-one, because obviously you use RxJS with NGRX, right? Like there's some mix and match, but that's not inherently untrue for React either. I mix and match Redux and context depending on the context. Haha, we did it. Yeah. So I think that it's very contextual, and like Zach said, it's don't go at it alone. Just make sure you're reaching out to resources and stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyway, sorry for derailing this whole thing for a minute or two.
No, that's cool, man. The main thing I wanted just to get is like some ideas before we get in here. Yeah. Oh, look, keep talking about context though, because I just don't understand what this is yet. So I can't say anything intelligent.
Problem prop drilling. Yeah, I agree, but you can use that problem solving tool to replace certain aspects of what Redux might have been used for. So it depends.
Cool. So the main thing I want to do today is get in some better UI. I think the biggest thing we could do is have a nice unit component, even if it's not super aesthetically pleasing. If we can just get things so that like things make more sense to our user, maybe we can see something like just their name. Do you think a health bar we could do in this time? If not a health bar, we could just show like at least
you could show health points.
Health points versus like maybe just like a fraction. Health points over max health.
Yeah.
That would be cool. And then just like energy, just a number 0 through 5. I think those are the main things we need right now. Maybe any auras that could be on them. Let's not try to go too fancy. Let's just try to get to this. Right. And we'll see if we have the time. Let's try to do controllers, better controllers. So right now we got this super. No, you get on the screen, Adam. You're a beautiful man, sir. You'll let anyone tell you different. But yeah, if we can get to some better controllers than the ones we just saw, because no one wants to play a game with window prompts. Like this is not great.
I mean, it could be like emulating old DOS games, you know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it works. It works for getting stuff done. So, and well, at least just for testing stuff out. So, but yeah, ideally we do want something where like um, when the user needs to click a unit, maybe they just click on the unit component, or when they need to select a move, maybe we have like some dialogue or something come up. So I don't know. We'll see. I think Corbin had some idea where we had like some buttons on screen, like next to our churn. And for now, I think that's good. If we could figure out how to make that controller work, getting it to work correctly, I think is number one. And then getting it to work well. Maybe that's number two. We'll figure out our way as we go.
I think working well and working correctly were two things that I was missing, maybe.
Hey, working correctly. Let's see if we can get there. All right. So Corbin, how do you want to do this? You want to drive me? Do you want me to stop sharing and you can start, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, we can do that. I'm down either way.
All right. Let me try. I'm kind of interested. I want to go around poking around with some of the NX stuff. So I'm going to try to do like a schematic to create a component for a unit, and we'll see what it spits out. So I'm going to generate. For anyone who's interested, this is the NX plugin, and we've already installed like all the React stuff. So I'm going to create a new component, and call the name of our component unit. Sorry, what was that, Corbin?
The NX console.
Yes, this is the NX console VS Code plugin. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
I did not have that installed. Installing now.
Nice. It's like it's pretty much there's no extra functionality on top of like the NX CLI, but it kind of I really like it because it makes me not have to remember stuff, and it's kind of really good for discoverability. Like having a GUI like this, you can see all the different options and stuff. So it's pretty cool. So we're going to want to do a functional component, right? So we won't want to check this.
Right.
And SCSS, is that good? That's what I'm not used to working with.
Yeah, CSS works fine.
All right. We'll figure. Oh, no routing needed, I guess. Let's try running it. We can see the dry runs happening here. That looks right. We'll just hit run, and that'll create some files for us. I don't think we need to export. Okay, I think that did it. Now we'll come back and we'll see. Here's our unit. So we have this unit. He's being exported. I would assume inside of our TSX here, we just import it here. So if we just import unit from unit /unit. That looks promising. Should we just stick this at the bottom for now, you think, Corbin?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that. So we got our div. Underneath the churn, we'll put, how does this work? We just put, not app, unit.
Yeah, that looks right.
Well, cool. Let's see how that turned out. Hold down. Welcome to unit. We did it. Better UI achieved.
The UI is perfect now. We can stop. Stream over.
So help me understand context here. I was kind of assuming we defined some interface for this unit and like pass it in as an input. That's what I'm used to in Angular. But it sounds like the context thing is kind of more akin to an Angular having a service and like setting something on that service. And
then providing that service at a module level instead of globally. Although you can provide it globally the same way. My thought is that we can do a context that provides. So contexts have both a provider and a consumer. And you can have any number of providers and any number of consumers, and the consumer will go bubble up the tree and try to find the closest provider. So my thought was we can have a provider for the battle in the state, right? And then inside of the unit, instead of passing a property down, we can just have React.use context and then get the battle in the state context from there. we can still pass in traditional props, but by doing it this way, we can kind of more freely move around the unit and some other things.
Okay, that makes sense, I think. So essentially, rather than having this use ref hook for our battle engine, we'd probably just want the battle engine to exist inside the context entirely. Is that right?
So when you have a provider, you would do a provider at a level like a component. So in this case, we could add a provider in app. And in order to provide, we have to have a value from that component itself. So in this case, we could do provider battle engine.current and then consume that later on. So you would still want to use the use ref.
Okay, I see. I think I see. Let's take some steps. Maybe that'll clear things up as we go.
For sure.
How would I do this? So I just go to the unit for now, or should I stay here?
Let's stay here. Sorry, I'm actually pulling up an example of context because I'm terrible at the API. Okay. So we can either make a new file or we can leave it in here. And then above app, let's do const battle engine context.
In context.
And you may want to capitalize the B, just because this is going to turn into like a component of sorts almost.
Okay.
And then equals react.create context.
Create context.
And then that's a generic, so you can pass in like whatever type you need for create battle engine, whatever that returns.
Okay. That returns a battle engine.
Oh, perfect.
As the name would suggest. But there we go.
And then you can pass in what the initial value will be. We shouldn't ever hit this, so you could pass in like an empty object as any, or if you really, really, really wanted to, you could just do create battle engine and then. But yeah, I would just do that.
There you go. So what are the other parameters here? Calculate changed bits.
Change what?
I just look at the API here. Calculate changed bits is the second parameter.
No. I've actually never used it.
Okay.
So we can leave it just with the first prop.
Sounds good.
And you probably want to export this context because you'll be importing it anytime that you need to reference this context again, which is why usually contexts are in their own constants files.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to need to do that, I think, because otherwise we'll have the circular dependency already.
Right, exactly.
So, okay, let's. I wonder if there's a thing in NX to do that. Let's see if I generate. Is there a context? React.
Maybe.
I guess it would just be a component.
Kinda. I don't know. I would just make a new file, to be honest.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to figure this stuff out, man. It's okay. Let's do that. Let's do that. So we'll say.
I'd rather export a custom hook, like use battle contexts and export the hook instead of the context itself. Running into a lot of typing problems with just the context itself. Yeah, that's true. And it either way, I've seen it be done both ways. So, yeah.
I was wondering what you were reading for a second there. I still gotta get better at reading all these comments.
Sorry, I'm pretty quick on reading the comments. I have them like as an omnipresent bar in my stream, so I always just like stare at it while I'm streaming.
Nice. Okay, well let's just make the new file. So we'll rename this. So this was the battle engine context.
Yeah, .ts.
.ts, and we'll just bring that stuff over. Paste.
And you'll need to import React and battle engine.
Did it not import React for me?
It didn't seem like it.
On VS Code. How's it doing that in my other file? I don't even know. Okay, that's pretty easy to remember, I suppose. Import React from React.
Yeah.
All right. For my initial value, if we're doing it like this, should I not just call my factory function right here?
You can, but it will be overridden when you provide a provider.
I see. Okay.
So if we do an import of the battle engine context in the app.tsx.
Sure. So what are we doing in here?
We'll need to import that constant that we just made.
Oh, I see. We're going to import battle engine context. Am I typing?
Yeah, no worries. Better typing than I am on stream.
And
then down in the return, so like 142.
Okay.
Right above the div, we'll do battle engine, like almost as if it's a component. Battle engine context dot provider, and then space value equals, and then you can bind it to the battle engine dot current.
Okay. So this is battle engine dot current, which is from our use ref.
Yeah. Yep. There you have it. You're providing a context.
Neato. Okay. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. We have in this file, we've created a context of a battle engine.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of our app.tx file, we are providing a value for that context.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to inject this context into our unit, and then we'll be able to have access to the entirety of our battle engine.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. I've got it. I always try to repeat back to make sure I understand things. So how do we use it in here?
So I'll show you how to use it the simpler way, and then I'll show you the way that Narked, I can't pronounce that properly, is explaining in their comments.
Okay, cool.
So you'll use it as a hook. So in between lines 8 and 9, we'll do a const battle engine. And then it'll be equal to react.useContext.
Okay.
And then pass in the battle engine context. And that's it. Now you don't need a prop go.
Interesting. Okay, so I pretty much injected, I took my battle engine that I'm providing somewhere else, and I'm trying to understand just how would I provide multiple of these? Like if I wanted different instances of a context, would I use like a context factory and like name them or index them? How does that work?
So do you mean like multiple instances of the same context or just multiple contexts?
Yeah, let's say for some reason we had two battles going on at the same time. Does that make sense? Like if we had two battles going on screen, like I'm thinking for some things, it may be nice to have like these different test rooms, which would be kind of cool. So might want to have actually multiple of them on the page at a time. So
there's two things to keep in mind. One, you can mutate the value from the provider. So if you needed to switch out that context or you needed to mutate any of the values or something along those lines, you can. The other thing to keep in mind is that you can have multiple different providers and you can reach out to the one that's the closest parent heuristically to the children.
Okay.
So you can have
provide this on multiple different levels if we wanted.
Right. And you could even have them as siblings. So you could have two sibling providers, and then one provider has one battle, one provider has another.
Okay. So, that makes sense. So like when we have this node in our DOM, this is it's traversing up the DOM tree until it finds one.
Exactly. Okay. And that's a nice part about
this. If this is our app and this is at the top level, this is kind of like providing one essentially globally. This point, right?
And you can change it so that there's multiple different implementations. You could have it so that it's not at the global, and that's what I meant by providing a modules dependent service. Is that like you can make it independent based on the feature set or the page or whatnot. So, yeah, I only figured that since like most games tend to. My phone is going off crazy, and I've already put it in mute. That's awesome. But
it's just all of our notifications for how famous we're getting to.
Well, I have it on mute. I don't know how it's making noise. I've toggled every mute setting. Anyways, so the nice part of is this kind of acts as a global store for now. There's also use reducer, which we don't have to get into right now, but combined with use reducer, you can make a pretty powerful Flux-ish global store without having to add any libraries.
Neat.
So yeah.
Well, this sounds pretty cool. What I am seeing now, so we have via the context now, we're able to give the whole engine over.
Mhm.
I don't think we need, well, maybe it wouldn't be bad to have that in the unit, but the unit still needs to know about its, like, which one it is. So how could we do that? Like, we could do something here if I'm just thinking of like simplest tools. We could loop for each team, inside of each team, loop for each unit, and then maybe pass it in on like an ID. Is that a thing?
Definitely.
Like, in Angular would be like something like that.
But, no, you can do exactly that. Yeah.
Oh, neat. Okay, let's do that. Let's see if I can figure this out. All right, so we're going to want to do. So I just put things in braces, and then I can kind of like stick some TypeScript in there, right?
Yeah.
The idea.
And then you return the JSX object.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to want to do something like object. Pardon my typing again. Values, and we're going to want to use the battle engine dot current dot inside here we'll want to go to our battle dot teams, and this will give us an array, and we'll want to, I guess we'll want to reduce this out. Sorry, go ahead.
We can actually do a map, and you can return null inside of the map if you don't want it to show up, and then it will just not render anything.
Okay.
In JSX, null renders nothing.
Okay. So if I did like this, map to null.
Well, I was just saying, so we want to map over the individual teams, right?
Correct.
So what you could do is you could return an array of an array, and then it would render those two items separately. And you could so let me see if I can share my screen really quickly. Yeah. Sorry, I'm having difficult time putting into words. Otherwise, I'm just going to say array 18 times. The array of an array of a. Oh, I'm dizzy.
Well, I'm wondering. I don't know. My brain's a bit fried right now. I'm imagining I could reduce the teams down into digging into each of their different units and creating a single array that way. Or yeah. Do you have your screen up? I'm not seeing it in the StreamYard.
There we go. I just got it up.
Cool. Let me add it in.
We could do something like battle. It was object.values. Battle engine. I can type dot current dot.
Then we'll need to go into the battle.
Yeah. What am I missing here? Correct, right? I'm not. Anyways.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Yeah.
And then dot teams.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not providing me any actual information. That's kind of obnoxious. And then we'll have team val. And then you could do return div.
Oh, I see.
Team val dot map. So you could do
I see.
each team, and then for each individual in each team.
Gotcha.
So you can map them
that makes sense. I think. Now let's see if I can do that back. So this. I want to map each team to be its own JSX in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say this is going to be some div, and it'll close the div.
Hooray for div span soup.
Yeah, well, I don't like that. we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll have to clean that up.
And let's see. I don't need this.
We could do section.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if that's too much better, but all right.
No,
And we're eventually going to want to get to this units, but yeah. So inside of the div here, we're going to want to do another thing to unwrap. And so in here, we'll say team dot unit IDs. Am I not? Is it not giving me? Does it not know what this is?
I noticed that object.values has some weird. Oh, is
Yeah.
current not typed?
Yeah.
So go up to your use ref.
Oh,
Let's
do I need
type
to type it here?
Yeah, it's a generic.
I was hoping it would just know.
Yeah, I
Okay.
thought it might, but maybe it's not.
Okay, so now if I go to team,
.map.
it doesn't know. Team is
Oh,
unknown.
it's an unknown.
Let's see.
Why is that an any? What?
I don't know. I am confused, but we can make it.
Huh.
Okay, wait, what's going on here? Oh, get battle. That makes sense. Thank you, TypeScript, because that would take me a while to figure out. Okay, so then team unit IDs, and we're going to want to map this. So for each unit ID, we'll map it to this whole thing again. Up to there. Units, unit ID. It's not the cleanest code I've ever written, but it gets us to the point where we're here now. And I imagine, so at this point, for each of the teams, we've got an array of units, and we're going to want to map this into that unit component we wrote. Correct?
Also, instead of using get battle, couldn't we use app component state.battle?
Yes. Yes, we could.
Sorry, calling methods is it runs every render, so it's generally ill-advised.
Makes sense. So how did this work? This was just the component state. How do we get to that? I think it's right there. Okay, yeah. Yep. App component state dot battle.
There you go.
Much better.
Much cleaner.
Maybe a little bit. The jury's still out. All right, but here we can go to our unit. Right. At this point, we kind of have the whole unit, but
I realized I forgot something.
Okay, what did we forget?
So similar to how view works, when you're inside of a map, you need to have words. Words exist. You need to have a key. So on the div on line 148, we need to have colon key and then the team ID somehow. Okay.
So said colon key.
Or I'm sorry, that's view. Key equals braces. I swear I haven't been using view too much.
Okay. So key equals what? Team.id?
Yeah.
Maybe? Okay.
And then you'll do the same thing inside of the unit. You'll do unit key something.
Unit key equals and then unit.id. So some unique identifier.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Okay. Adam's asking, why do you get battle and get state as methods on the battle anyways? On the battle engine, I mean. Yeah, so the battle engine, originally I didn't actually, and left some things a little bit confusing. The way I have it structured now, if I go to the battle engine file, battle engine, I don't know if this is a sane decision or not, but the idea was originally, this was just battle, returns a battle. But by doing get battle, I now have like a closure here inside of my create battle. So yeah, so this create battle engine kind of has these state pieces inside of it, like the battle here. And that get battle is just going to point to that. So that's kind of the idea here. What I'd love to get to for this is rather than a get battle being exposed, so like a method exposing how we get synchronously our battle, is to instead have a battle a battle $ exposed, where it's an observable of the battle as it changes.
Yeah.
So that will probably change things as we go down. But why? Why what, Adam? Why do I want the observable of the battle? Because I want to see it changing. I don't know. I like the idea of that, but we can discuss more when you're on tomorrow. So you can correct me in the ways I'm doing things wrong. But well, yeah, this sounds good. All right. So now, okay, we're at the point now where we have the unit. I'm wondering almost, Corbin, if we even needed the context if we're going to do this anyways.
We may not.
Okay,
I just
cool.
simply mentioned it because I feel like it would come in handy if you
Oh,
want to.
yeah. No. We totally could. Well, I guess we don't really expose the controllers in there, but maybe we could do something there because we'll need to like know in some way, probably at the unit level, if like the unit got clicked, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and we may not need it now. And if that's the case, then totally feel free to remove it. I just figured it might be useful to be able to access.
I feel like I learned stuff from you explaining it, so I feel good about that at least.
That's a win, yeah.
What's that?
I said that's a win, yeah.
There we go. I'll take them when I can get them. All right, let's go. So now we're in our unit. Well, before we do that, is there a way to just pass the unit in?
Yeah, sure. Unit equals unit.
All right, that sounds easy enough. Unit equals unit, like so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It doesn't like this.
Because we don't have any properties defined in the unit component yet.
Makes
so
sense.
That'll be under unit props.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll define unit, and we'll need to type it.
That's not good.
We may want to do export const unit comp or something.
Yeah, component. There you go. This. You can see a history of all my typing violations. There, I should have fixed it over here. Yeah, cool.
Keep in mind, you also need to export default unit component.
I'm surprised that I actually didn't find it there. Oh, I guess it may have thought it was this. I don't know. Unit component. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it's exporting both default and the cons. But oh well. Anyways.
Get rid of the const.
I tend to not export by default, but that's because I'm too afraid of issues with tree shaking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it seems weird why you would need that if this is. Well, I guess maybe to make that the default, but maybe just do that for now. I don't know.
Ta-da! For fun and for profit.
How am I importing that? Yeah, the way I was importing it.
Oh, we left both in the schematic so people could do what they wanted. That makes sense.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's one way to avoid the problem of do we do X or Y? It's do both.
Do both. You might as well have been a schematic. Okay, cool. So now we have our props, and now we should, if I wanted to, I could just put, I'm imagining, I guess I have to do this, props.name.
Props.unit.
There we go. Makes sense. Cool. And if I save here, there's Zach and Corbin. We did it.
Look at that. Beautiful.
Oh, Corbin, before I forget, we're almost, man, this time is flying. We're almost done already. We're 3/4 of the way done. Let me do this. This is something I wanted to do with all my guests as I have them on. I want you to think of, if you can, let's see. This is my character. This is Hammer Maccabeus. He, being me, he's fire. If he was two types, he'd be fire and holy. Oh, there's Caitlin. Hey, Caitlin. How's it going? Caitlin works at Narwhal too. She's super cool. But this is my guy. I don't know. I kind of threw some random stats in there, but
Okay.
I want to make one for you. Can I make one for you on stream here?
Yes, absolutely.
What do you want your guys' names to be? It needs to be some sort of like quasi job title as the first name, and then the second name is like, we could just make it Corbin if you want, or if you have like, we could put a Crutchcorn. If you got like some D&D name, you can do that too.
I don't have a D&D name. Oh, I feel so on the spot. I should have thought about this.
Sorry, I should have asked ahead of time. I'm totally springing this on him right now. But
yeah, you gotta give me a minute to
tomorrow. Well, let's do this at least. Looking at the types. Do you have, what type would you be?
Is there one for darkness?
Yes, there is.
Yes, that one.
You want to be dark all the way. All right.
Be dark and holy, just to confuse everyone.
Dark and holy. Well, let's okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
We don't have to. It'll probably.
So this is my weird concept for it all, Corbin. But I want to do like initially everyone's one type, and then like some release down the line they'll have two types. Like that will be like a big thing going down. But anyways, let's make a new file for you. Should I just give you a name? Should you be?
I should be accidental Crutchius or something.
Accidental Crutchcorn. Crutchius,
yeah, Crutchius.
There you go. .aeon.ts. The venerated aeon.ts file.
It personifies my clumsiness, It's perfect.
If you say so.
Because I didn't fit in anywhere else.
All right, let's do this. Crutchius.
Shut it down now. Oh, the tea is hot. Yes. Nice. It's been boiling for a while.
There we go. All right, let's.
Just saying, he's got a pretty in-deep backstory. You got to appreciate that,
There you go. There you go. Well, we'll just leave your stats like this for now. But I'm hoping if I can do this with my guests as I go through, we'll have like a nice spattering of aeons by the time we get over.
Yeah.
I really the exercise. I did this in previous iterations too with like friends at work. I was like, given these 10 types, which one would you be? And that tells you something about them.
Yeah. I'm just picking dirt type because my girlfriend is like super goth, and now I'm just involved in it. So
There you go. You're accidental goth.
Exactly. I didn't start off this way, and yet here I am. See, the tea is really hot now, boiling.
The tea is hot. Nice. All right, we did that at least. Let's go back to our unit because we can do some more stuff here. Like at this point, it's pretty easy to get some more stuff in here, right? Like, what was this? I don't know.
Props.unit HP.
Yeah, sounds good.
I don't know if that's the actual. Here, me.
Yeah. Health. Oh, that's trying to emit stuff.
Yeah, health.
There you go. I'm thinking about this. Oh, so here we actually do need the context if we want to get their max health, because that's not going to be on the unit itself. And this is like inner workings of the battle engine. It's actually the base stats are going to be there, but that won't be accurate because potentially they could have a max health buff on them. And so I need to expose that somehow from the engine, so I won't do that. We'll just use let's see if we can use the context here.
You said max health is not part of the unit? I'm looking at the typings and it seems that there's base attributes, stats, max health.
So that is their base attributes.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I don't need context for that, but I do need context in order to get the whole engine in there, so I can factor in any auras that are on this unit to determine, or any auras that could be affecting this unit to determine what their actual max health is. So let's just do that for now, though. We'll get fancier later. Base attributes max health. O.stats.
There you
We're
go.
going way down. All right. Let's
Perfect.
see. Oh, I'm going the wrong browser. There we go. Hey, there we go.
Yes.
I got this extra 1,000 down here for no reason. Let's just do this as energy. Will these update now, or will we have to? Okay, let's try it. We're going to churn. I'm going to have Corbin tackle Zach. Hey, look at that!
Perfect.
You got energy. We got stuff. We're cooking.
That's great.
I'm almost dead too. Let's finish
Cooking
this
with
off.
Firehammer.
Oh, too late. I already tackled myself. Oh,
Game
cooking
over.
with Firehammer. We did it. Better UI achieved.
Brandon, nice.
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 Let's get some enthusiasm in here. All right. There you go.
Well, you don't have me on stream because I'll keep making terrible puns.
There you go. All right. So we got this. We could use, if I were to use the context, I could just go into Battle Engine at this point.
My only question is that ta-da, the end.
We did it.
My only thing is if we go back to the context provider,
yeah.
We right now we have
up in the top level here on the app.ts. Okay.
Yeah. So my only thought is if we already have the battle and the state from app component state, do we want to provide that instead of providing the battle engine? Because otherwise we'll have to do .get battle get bat get, we'll have to use the getters again. And if this is already handled in the app, maybe we should provide the app component and state instead.
That makes sense. App component, the entirety of the app component state, you think? Or
Why not?
Just okay. Well, I guess the app component state, we do need actually, unless we're taking everything exposed from the battle and putting it into state, we may not have enough down the line.
What we could do is we could provide them both.
Okay, how do we do that?
So we'll probably need to change the typings of the component or the context. But what we can do is just like that. So you make it an object with the double curly braces, and then provide battle engine, and then provide app component state. There you have it. Now we'll need to change the context because, of course, now the typings aren't correct anymore.
So this would now be. Well, the name probably needs to change here too, because it's no longer just the battle engine context. It's like the entirety of the app context. But yeah,
game data context or something.
Yeah. Well, I won't do that because I don't think we need that for now. But that's okay. It's interesting to see that though and understand how that works. Part of me kind of likes that. I like that in some ways more than the Angular stuff. It seems a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah.
Seems easier. Seems simpler to provide stuff. Like NG modules, I don't think are doing that much magic stuff, but it can definitely seem magic.
Yeah, especially with like providers and stuff. I remember recently getting kind of confused at like the injection route. I was like, but I need to provide it. And it's like, well,
provide it en route.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's weird.
Cool, for now we could just do the const use ref battle state .get battle if we really want to access that for now.
Okay. What are you talking about up here?
In the unit.tsx, if you were still wanting to access the battle engine stuff, we could just do what we're doing in the other place. So we could do const battle, like on line 14.
Mm-hmm.
We could do like const battle data equals battle engine dot get battle. I always hate the Emmet stuff. It always gets in the way for me.
I don't like Emmet. I'm sure
either.
people, if they're used to it, it's a very helpful tool. But
I'm really bad at text. Yeah, I'm really bad at memorizing like key combos as well. Like I barely get used to my keyboard, which is a little wonky. So
yeah. So would this battle data stay in sync as we go through?
It should. So the only thing to keep in mind is that battle engine line 14 is going to re-render every single render or rerun every single render. So if you wanted to do like, I don't think it's important here because I mean, we're kind of always going to need the battle data to be up to date. But you could do micro optimizations like use memo or use callback if that computation got really, really expensive for some reason.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's kind of opening a can of micro optimization worms, and it might not actually be a real optimization depending on some.
Getting the battle should be relatively free.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah. So, but there you go. Now we have the battle data.
Sweet. Let's see. We got 3 minutes left. You want to wrap it up here? Do we want to try doing some fancy stuff with the controller?
It's up to you. I think we should wrap it up here because I suspect the controller is going to be a bit of refactoring work.
Okay.
Especially if you want to move it to use observables.
Yeah. That's true. Well, the controller itself, I don't know if maybe an observable instead of a promise might be nice.
That's kind of what I was thinking because otherwise I don't know. So if it's okay, I can show what I was working on.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me throw your screen up. Are you ready for me to throw it up?
Yes. So it's super wonky and I don't want anyone to... This is not my production quality code, okay? Don't attack me. But I have this defer function that exposes the resolve and reject commands from the promise itself, which is super jank already. And then we put it in a use ref and then judge it anyway.
I think they're judging the any's on your code.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's not production. And look, there's one any, okay?
Oh, no.
And then when you have pick, then you just do defer. You do the defer.resolve.
Yeah.
And then you just await that inside of the, it's really just recreating observables is what I did. I recreated observables with promises and it's much worse. And it's the only way I can think of exposing an async up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I've done this to you all.
Okay. But so let's take a step back though. Just think about this because So the battle engine, the way it's designed, there we go. My ArcGIS. Man, I love ArcGIS, but I'm not. I don't know. Hopefully, Adam had a talk that he had me watch that he gave. Let me see if I can actually just link it in here. Sent it to me. That I watched last night and I thought was interesting, quite interesting. Let me just share that. Copy and paste it in chat here, so y'all can take a look if you like. Just thinking about different ways to get ArcGIS into React. I think he was using like use effect to subscribe. I want to say,
sense. Yeah.
Doing like I don't know. I'm still getting used to all these different hooks.
And Ross, then yes. Don't do what I'm doing. That's explicitly what I'm saying. I'm saying this is bad. Don't do this, but this is how I got it to work in general. So that's all.
Hey, making it work is number one, and making it work well, that can come later. But yeah, the idea for the whole plugin thing is to inside of our battle engine, we can like port in some functionality, and so we're making little pieces of functionality as we go. The idea of the controller is right now just to get some sort of information out of either, in this case, it's the UI, I guess. Mm-hmm. For like a computer user, we just have a different controller that we'd assign to that unit. Like you can see on line 51 there on Corbin's screen, the unit IDs controlled are up top there. So we could do some interesting stuff here. We could actually have different AIs that will prioritize different things. Could be kind of fun. I don't know, but this way, like a computer player could make a choice, and we could have them, like someone could create their. What would be really cool is if we had some competing AIs fighting against each other.
Yes,
that would be super neat. Like just write a controller and see who wins.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, I've been really impressed by this code base so far. Like I realize that it's relatively small at this point, but I think that it's structured in a way that's gonna scale really well. So like I think you've done a great job at like the beginning implementations here.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I've thought about these things a lot, and I'm hoping as we go on, like I want to get to some point where we have some good visuals. So like the
Adam, I look forward to seeing the talk. I have it in my watch queue. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. But yeah, I've thought through this stuff a lot because I've been through a couple iterations on this. So I have something. Oh, come on. Oh, no. This way is the correct way, actually, Adam. This is incorrect.
But now you're not on the Zach email chain.
No, I am a true. Well, I don't know. My name is Zachary with a CH, but I shortened it to Zach with a K because it's Zach, not Zach. There's a difference there. But I don't know. It's whatever. But yeah, I really appreciate you saying that about the code base. Yeah. I'm wanting to do some really interesting moves as we get to this. So once the visual stuff is there, chat lists give us something pretty for people to watch while we do stuff. Being able to do stuff. I was talking to Adam about how we'll probably need to make some adjustments to the state engine of the state machine of the engine, because we want to like allow for a loop back. Like if it was my turn, if you and me, Corbin, were on the same team, our accidental Crutchcorn, Crutchius was on the same team, and I had the move Inspire, I could use that move to give you an extra turn.
Right.
But that implies that like we got to do like another round of stuff before we go to actually acting. So
right.
That kind of stuff. I think is really interesting. And it's kind of fun to code those out and think, how would that work in this system? Right. So I'm trying to build a system where we could do that kind of stuff easily, make it interesting. Like I really like the games, the Pokemon and Final Fantasy games, but I think in many ways it's kind of more a game of tedium. Like you're just grinding to get higher levels so your stuff can kill stuff. And I don't want that. I'd love to figure out some way if we can balance this right, it'll be like you actually have to think through and come up with unique move sets to beat different battles or something like that. I know. I was thinking this actually, Adam. I was coding. I was digging around in the Dino the Dino code base. They got async iterables everywhere. And I was like, wow, I respect those guys a lot. So if they're using it, it's probably something there. But I think you're right. I don't think I I know what iterables are, but and async iterables, but I haven't really used them. I haven't found a good use case for them.
You know, actually, that's a good point. If we replaced some of this stuff and threw yields inside this pick, that would probably do it.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot easier than what we're trying to do here, right?
Yeah. I always forget that async iterables are a thing, but yeah, that would definitely do it.
Yeah. Well, maybe Adam, we could do that tomorrow. Figure out some of this stuff. I don't know.
I made you do it.
What's that?
I'm just like, haha, you guys have to do it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Out. I think Adam and I will probably focus on doing the X state stuff because that seems really cool, and we'll just kind of go from there. So sweet. Corbin, thank you so much for coming on the stream again, man. Helping me out, teaching me stuff about context. I think you actually explained it very well. I feel like I understand it well, at least. So it's cool. And we'll keep plugging our way at React and plugging away at this game, and hopefully we'll have something cool really soon. And
it's gonna be neat.
Enjoy the journey too, man. Like I'm really enjoying having you on, having Adam on, having people come by and have a good time. It's fun.
Yeah.
So thanks all for coming, and thank you especially to Corbin. And glad we made a little Aeon for you. So your legacy will remain in the game.
Yes, of my accidental tripping and everything.
Sweet. All right, y'all. I'll see you next time. Let's run that video one more time as an outro.
Take care.
Catch y'all next time.